It may sound crazy, but yes, we are hunting for Bigfoot. I'm PH, I'm your host, and you're listening to 1983. I don't know if anyone out there that's listening to this has ever had an encounter with Bigfoot, but we have done quite a bit of research into our area, and apparently there's been a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Or I guess encounters would be a more accurate term. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head out to the mountains in an undisclosed location, and we're going to take video and pictures of the surrounding area, go around looking for, the typical Bigfoot sign, giant footprints in the mud. Um, Something that we saw online in our research was that there's actually tree formations, I guess is what they call it. So they lay them down in certain patterns, and it's supposed to be like marking your territory. And then something else that we looked into was there's a specific type of shelter that they think Bigfoot is using. They being supposed experts. And there's actually a professor at ISU out here, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, that is a Bigfoot expert. We'd really like to have him on the show eventually, but we need to grow a little bit, I think, before we could even get a little bit more uh, traction with public figures. But that's something that you could help us out with. If you like the episodes or you like specific episodes, maybe you don't like the show in general, but you like specific episodes, share them online. Friends, family, social media, do it all. We don't need necessarily any financial support, but it would be it's a goal that we've had for a long time to have interesting people on the podcast and be able to, call up experts on certain topics, conspiracies, stuff like that, have them out on the show. Eventually, we'd like to move toward more of like a video podcast type format platform. But as it stands right now, we're just going to continue doing the audio. We do have a Rumble channel. We are slowly uploading videos. And when I say videos, it's just our logo in the background, but it is the same audio that you would hear in the podcast. And if you prefer to use Rumble, go ahead and go over there. As far as spreading the information to other people, we're on almost every major podcast hosting website. So if you know what, we did this in the past and we got quite a bit of response for it. Let's set a goal of 1,000 downloads to this podcast episode. If we get 1,000 downloads, I'll personally go down to ISU, set up a meeting with Dr. Meldrum, and see if we can get his opinion on where we should go in this area and what type of sign we're looking for. Back to the trip that we were talking about. This is something that we plan on doing annually, whether we see something or not. It'd be kind of cool to have fans of the podcast come out and spend time, do like a big camping trip with a whole bunch of people out in the middle of nowhere, trudging through the wilderness looking for Bigfoot. Speaking of the wilderness, there's a few wilderness areas out here. There's not a whole lot of roads in or out. There's, you can use the land for recreation, but you can't really drive through it. So if you're interested in hearing about Bigfoot hunts from those types of areas, we can totally do that. One more idea that we have had, and I don't know, we'll see if it seems feasible from where we're going to be, but we talked about possibly recording podcast episodes while we're out in the field. We have Starlink satellite. We'd be able to upload. We're also interested in doing live shows from areas like that. We'd obviously bring a web camera, have a semi-professional microphone available, and probably stream to like Twitch. But I think it would be super interesting to be in the middle of a Bigfoot hunt and actually have people chiming in on their opinion. It'd be even cooler to be able to live stream, say, trail cams, stuff that we'd set up out in the field. You'd be able to live stream and look at, what's available as far as media goes that we would be setting up. That one would have to come further down the road because currently our budget doesn't cover uh, being able to go out and get the webcams that are able to connect through cellular network. Um, but I guess if you're interested in stuff like that, spread our information around. Go to Patreon and throw down $5. I think we only have one tier right now because we don't believe in robbing our Patreons blind. But you get 5-10 people committing to 3 months worth of $5 a month. We'd definitely be able to go out and get some cameras, set them up in those areas. And if we see something, we'd be more than willing to share GPS locations and stuff like that. Now, obviously, there are a lot of fakes out there, and that's not something we're interested in doing. I'm not going to be standing out there in a gorilla suit. Although, if we get 500 downloads on this episode, I would be willing to post the pictures of the prank that my father-in-law pulled on my brother-in-law. He does have some of those cameras set up out in the middle of nowhere, mostly looking for bear. But my father-in-law went out and found one of his cameras and dressed up in a gorilla suit and trudged around in the forest out in front of the camera in order to trick my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law didn't even see it. He has a time-lapse set up on his camera, and it caught the front arm of my father-in-law as he was walking by, and then also the back of him as he was walking through, and my brother-in-law assumed it was a bear. But they took some pictures with an iPhone they had with them, so I'd be willing to upload that to the same website we put the alien photos on. Yeah, spread the word. We really appreciate the community that's already a part of us. We can't even fathom having this many downloads up to this point. So, special thank you goes out to those people that have been spreading the word. And yeah, thank you for listening into this episode. If you have any information or pointers that you want to give out, anyone living in Southeast Idaho, check out our Rumble channel. You can message us on there. You can add a comment to one of the videos. We'll get in contact with you. We're taking any information possible on where the best place is to go. We've done our research and know where there's a few really secluded areas with water and food and stuff like that. But if you know of anyone out here that has a legitimate, like, believable sighting story, we want to hear from them. Thanks for listening in. God bless, and until next time.